And welcome to the Nasboys Sports Podcast. Now, did you know that Alex Rodriguez has earned an estimated $450 million during the course of his 22-year career? His two highest earning seasons came in the 2009 and 2010 seasons, which coincided with the Yankees' 2009 World Series championship. So, anyways, guys, welcome to the Nas Boys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Fan 101, with my good friend and co-host Cam, aka Ice by Cam.
Howdy, y'all.
So, let's get started talking about some sports here. We're going to start off with the NFL, starting out with Carson Wentz being injured. He injured his foot, and he will undergo further testing during the Colts training camp. We also have Aaron Rodgers staying with Green Bay for one more season. Now, Cam, as a Vikings fan, how do you feel about this?
Sucks. I'm not really too upset because, I know that their time's coming anyways. And I just know I'm happy to know that they're having a crappy organization and players aren't happy, really, to be honest. As a Vikings fan, it's kind of a nice feeling. And then you also got Devontae Adams, and he's pretty upset too. So, there's a lot of guys that are upset about the organization and how it is. And I'm like, yes, finally, Packers are getting what they deserve. So it feels nice.
Yeah, I mean it's the last dance, like what we talked about in the last episode. So
Yep.
that's all I really gotta say about it. It's just the last dance. Adams is gonna leave in the off season, I think, if he's a free agent. I'm not sure about his contract. Speaking of the
Yeah.
Packers, they also got Randall Cobb from the Texans, which I feel like is a great move. I mean, they gotta appease Rodgers.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I feel as if it's kind of a dumb move. Why are you going to waste your money on a quarterback that you know is going to be gone by next season? I have no idea. Rodgers already stated that he's not happy with his team and his organization. So why would they do that? I have no idea. I just feel like it's kind of like if a person got cheated on and they said sorry to the person that cheated on them for. That's kind of how I look at it.
Right. I mean, maybe they're hoping for a miracle that he comes back, but I don't know. I don't think he will. He already
See?
expressed it that he does not want to come back, so I don't know.
Yep.
We also have D.D. Westbrook signing a one-year deal with the Vikings, and Jalen Twyman, the dude who got shot 4 times, got waived off, so they could have the cap space to sign D.D., which I personally think is a dumb move because this guy, you know, fought for his life and he was ready to
Yeah.
play, and all of a sudden they're just like, "Oh, screw you."
Well, it's like why draft a guy and then not even give him a chance to prove himself? You know what I mean? Like that's also a reason of like, well, I kind of think it was like a little bit of a stupid move by the Vikings. And this is gonna sound wrong, but D.D. Westbrook, I mean, he used to be playing for Jaguars, which like nobody good is from the Jaguars. All right, I'm just saying this now. It's a clear statement. Okay, I guess Jalen Ramsey, but besides that, that's the only reason they're known. All right,
True.
but I definitely think I'm not really happy about it. I think it's a little messed up for sure. I mean, it's just I'm upset about it. I think that he was a good player. If you look at his college and all that, he was really good. And he got shot 4 times, and I guess they just waved him off for it, even though they didn't even give him a chance. It's
Right.
like it's kind of just messed up.
Yeah, I mean no disrespect by this, but when I read that, it's basically the I've won, but at what cost meme. But
Right.
yeah, I hope Jalen finds a team and he can prove himself and maybe shove it in the Vikings' faces that hey, I am actually a good player.
Yes.
So we also got the Giants releasing Kelvin Benjamin after he had a huge argument with some of the coaches and stormed off the field. Was it about his weight? We may never know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. Kevin Benjamin, man, he really did fall off. And I guess he made a return, and maybe we see why now that no team really wanted him. He's got anger issues. Um, maybe they were calling him out about like maybe stop eating the Big Macs from McDonald's and stuff. Like, we'll see. But I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about it. I mean, I think it's a stupid move. I mean, it's like your one shot to maybe get back into, a good health and be back on a team and get more money, and you just kind of like, you just screwed yourself out of it. Like, why?
Now, the argument, I believe, was with their coach, Joe
Yes.
Judge, and Kelvin was saying that they're not going to win any rings and he has no rings. But technically, Kelvin doesn't, and Joe Judge actually has rings as, I believe, an assistant coach.
No. He has rings. He has rings. He has onion rings.
Oh my God, we are just disrespecting this man. Oh my God.
Okay, but in other news,
all right, so go ahead.
In baseball, Tatis Jr. was placed on the 10-day injured list with a shoulder injury. This is very detrimental to the Padres. Looking at this, I mean, really, if he doesn't come back healthy, and I'd say the next, week or two, Padres are going to be in some trouble, right? Like, they're going to be in some serious trouble in my mind. It's one of their star players, if not one of their best players. I'm really wondering what's going to happen if he's not there. Like, I think that they're definitely going to have a big drop for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, they have Machado and they got McMahon, but I really don't think that they're going to come back from this if, for one, if he's not there. But for two, what if, like, that shoulder really does cause a lot of issues for Tatis Jr. And, it's kind of like another Derrick Rose situation, which I'd hate to point out, but, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, you said it was just a shoulder injury, right?
Yeah, it's just a shoulder injury. There's nothing really wrong about it right now. They haven't really figured much about it. They're just saying that it was like something wrong with the shoulder. They still haven't figured out anything really yet. So, we'll see more about it later.
All right. Well, hopefully he's all right.
Yep. So this is a lot of trade deadline news now. We have Craig Kimbrell is going to the White Sox. We have Chris Bryant, who's going to the Giants, and Javi Baez to the Mets. Really, we kind of just seen the whole Cubs just trade everybody big, really, and I guess they're going to try to have another rebuild, I guess, which, a part of me thinks it's somewhat pointless, but the other part of me sees why they're doing it. I know they got a lot of good prospects out of it, though. I know they got some pretty good ones. I can see where they're trying to head to, but I just don't know if it was the right move trading some of the guys they did. They were all very emotional about it too, though. I mean, some seemed like they wanted to go, and then some seemed like they didn't want to leave. Like, I know Javi Baez wanted to leave, but I'm not sure about Bryant and Kimbrell. And also, speaking of, Anthony Rizzo, who was traded to the Yankees for prospects Alex Vizcaino and Kevin Alcantara.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Bryant was pretty happy to leave. I think there's video of him in the dugout, and he was definitely smiling when he got the call.
As always, and there's Chris Bryant on the phone, still in the Cubs uniform, and there you have it. He has just been dealt to the San Francisco Giants. You see the warm embraces, number 17, a pillar in the Cubs history, and we're going to keep you posted right here as things continue to unfold. Trade deadline day as KB wipes away the tears. An emotional day for a lot of people involved around these parts. More Cubs Live trade deadline special.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time before they had another rebuild. I mean, they did win the World Series, snapping the streak. But I mean, that was about it, honestly. It was time for another rebuild, I guess.
I will say I'm just happy that they didn't all go to the Dodgers. I like, as a fan of the MLB, I'm really, really tired of the Dodgers getting everybody. Honestly, I think I'm really starting to think about maybe having a limit to players that, a team can get that's like so good. And the Dodgers is a great example of that. And the Yankees are turning into a great example of that. But I'm just happy it's not the Dodgers. It's someone different. We get to see some new faces on a different team. I'm happy about that. In other news, a Cardinals pitcher, Genesis Cabrera, gets ejected after saying he's going to go watch the replay after the ump calls a strike a ball.
Wink. There it is, the strike zone. Tell him, well, I'm going to go upstairs and watch and look and see. But I know that ball was a strike.
Which walked the batter. And It's he was pretty furious about it, and I guess the ump was kind of turning into NBA refs. It's pretty embarrassing, I'd say, just to check a replay, and I guess the ump took that as a threat. So
yeah, he didn't want to be proven wrong, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that video during the editing.
And once again, just the Astros making themselves look bad. An Astros pitcher, Brooks Raley, gives up a go-ahead grand slam, and the next batter comes up, he beams it right into the back.
For Raley, a fastball at 91 miles an hour, cutter, slider, curveball. The 3-2. Ball 4, bases are loaded. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Wow. Deep. This is on its way. Grand slam. Are you kidding me? Man. And Scott Service, he's airing him out. Yeah, he went in there a number of times. Maldonado was set up away the whole time, and everything was back inside.
But still, just not another good look for the Astros. First they were cheating, and we were like, well, we weren't going to be upset about pitchers because, it's not really their fault. But now it's like you guys are hitting people in the backs because you got hit on. Like, it's kind of childish.
True.
This is more like a funny thing, but I wanted to put it in here because, it is still trade news. Pirates pitcher Tyler Anderson was traded twice in one day. First to the Phillies and now to the Mariners. Pirates thought they had a set deal with the Phillies, but it fell through, and the Pirates found out they still had him.
Very interesting.
Yes. And this is some really big news in my mind. The Athletics acquire outfielder Starling Marte and give the left-handed pitcher Jesus Luzardo to the Marlins. And really, looking at this, I think it's kind of a win-win for both teams. For the Marlins, I think Luzardo is a great fit, and for the Athletics, they really need someone out there, and I think Starling Marte will really be a big benefit to the team.
Yeah, that was definitely a shocking move. The Marlins, I think, are another team that, it's just time to go and rebuild. So that was a solid move to trade him over there to Oakland.
Yeah, and then this is for poor Mike. All right, I feel bad for Mike on this one. Both Trey Turner and Max Scherzer are traded to the Dodgers for a catcher. I'm going to murder his name. Kybert Ruiz, pitcher Josiah Gray, and 2 mid-range prospects. On my mind on this, I don't understand that Max Scherzer was going to be long gone. We all kind of saw this coming. But Trey Turner, man, I don't know what they were thinking with this one. I mean, really, I don't know what, they really were seeing in him and what they had in mind with him. Because in my mind, seeing Turner and how good he is and just going, well, we'll just give him away. And, I really don't think for what they got that it was, deserving to give Trey away. I still think Trey had time. The only way I could think of it is maybe Trey wanted to leave the team. But, I mean, maybe that's it. But he just did not seem too upset about it, And also, another, the Cubs and Nationals are just trading everybody. Kyle Schwarber traded from the Nationals to the Red Sox for pitcher Aldo Ramirez. And, another, once again, I don't know. I think Kyle Schwarber was probably a good move. I think that, especially since they're getting away Scherzer, they're going to need a pitcher. And, this guy's young, and I think that he's going to be the future.
I'm in pain with this, honestly. I mean, starting out with the Scherzer move, I mean, we expected it. Scherzer wanted out, I guess, or I'm not sure. I mean, it was basic news that they were going to trade him during the deadline, so that really sucks. Scherzer was one of the best pitchers in baseball, and I was very happy to have him on the team for 7 years. I'm just shocked by it because, like, I knew, like I said, I knew we were going to take a hit without Scherzer. I mean, but I did not expect like Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber to get traded. Starting out with Trey, I mean, he was just having such a great season, all-star caliber season, and now all of a sudden, he's got to go to the Dodgers. Like, that's shocking because the Nats, they won the World Series. Then, all the stuff happened at the end of the season, and then we had to go through a weird season, and then we kind of sucked. But now we're just sort of middle of the pack team, and I don't know how I feel about it because on one hand, Trey Turner wanted like big money. I mean, he deserves big money, but at the same time, you got to pay Soto. But I don't know. I was just shocked because I wasn't expecting Trey Turner to get traded. Schwarber, I mean, I didn't want him to get traded. I thought he was just such a good player. I heard rumblings around for the Red Sox, but I thought, it's just Boston fans being delusional as always. But no, just had to put that nail in the coffin there. I mean, the Nats basically traded away like they're half of their core players. But the good news is they still have Ryan Zimmerman and Juan Soto. But I don't know. Zimmerman's getting up there in age, and who knows how much longer Soto will want to stay because if these prospects don't do too well, then that's a waste. So
yeah.
But the good news is Turner and Scherzer's contracts will be up, I believe, after this season. So maybe they can finesse it, but I don't know. Maybe not Trey, but Max, maybe. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I also like to say this, right? I was previously talking about how, I think teams should have a limit of, all-star players they should get. And personally, in my mind, at this point, the way MLB is, you might as well just take the Yankees versus the Dodgers as the NL versus AL, all-star game, because really it's turning into, which team can have more superstars. And that's, it's not fair to the other team. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to have some nice, players on your team, but I just think there could be a certain limit. I mean, at this point, I think the Dodgers secondaries are better than some team players that, for example, the Orioles have or the Blue Jays, which speaking of the Blue Jays, they're actually going back to their original stadium back in Canada because Canada had some strict rules with COVID and they just didn't really want to partner with it. But now they're back to their own stadium, which is good news for them. No more of having to see Vlad hit a home run across the fence into the street. No more of that. It'll actually be going to a fan. So that's nice to see.
Yeah.
Mike.
All right, gotta cut that out. I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. All right, so now we got some NBA news. First off, big news: Chris Paul declines his $44 million player option and will become an unrestricted free agent. Which, in my opinion, that's not that good of a move. I mean, the Suns made it to the finals last season. They have Devin Booker. They have solid role players. And where's he going to go? I mean, what team really needs a point guard? Like the Celtics? The Heat, maybe? I don't know. I think that he could go to a contender that's like on the verge of being a contender, but they're also not really a contender. So we'll have to see what happens with CP3.
Hear me out. He goes to Milwaukee and pulls a KD. They need a point guard. I just thought about this. They need a point guard. Originally, my prediction was he'd maybe go to like the Capitals, which I just kind of listen.
The Capitals? What? I mean, he's gonna play hockey now?
I'm not the Capitals. All right, okay, my bad. Washington. All right, there. But that's gonna have to be cut out now. All right. Can we do the NBA segment over again?
Yes.
Thank you. I'd rush by that.
All right, let's get into some NBA news. We're going to start out with Chris Paul declining his $44 million player option and will become an unrestricted free agent, which, in my opinion, this is kind of a strange move because the Suns are showing themselves as being contenders. I mean, they made it to the finals last season, and all of a sudden you just want to leave them. I mean, I think that they can contend. They got Devin Booker and they got solid role players. You know, we got DeAndre Ayton as well. He's becoming a star. So yeah, that's definitely very shocking. I mean, some possible options he could go to are the Celtics, the Heat, maybe the Wizards. I don't know. We'll see what happens with CP3. I just was very shocked by that.
Yeah, or hear me out. He could go to the Bucks, right? He could pull a KD. The Bucks do need a point guard in my mind, and maybe Chris Paul could fit it. I mean, I'm not really sure. I still think it's a dumb decision for him just to leave the team like that. I mean, really, they were just at the finals. Like, why would you leave and just go completely somewhere else? And not when it's already like in a rebuild, statement of like, okay, they're actually getting good, and you're just now gonna leave and go where? I mean, like, really, like, where are you gonna go? I feel as if like you're kind of getting up there in age. Some teams may want you, but they're not going to be as good as what you just had. And I think he's going to regret that later on this coming season.
Yeah, definitely, especially if he doesn't win another ring. Like, I don't know.
I mean, it's destined to happen. I just kind of feel as if, like, I said this once and I'll say it again. Another great reason of why I think that Chris Paul does not deserve a ring.
I think that Milwaukee might stick with Drew Holiday, though. Like, he's not that bad of a point guard. But then again, I mean, who wouldn't want CP3? So,
exactly.
So next up, another big name, Kawhi Leonard, declining his $36 million player option for the Clippers, which Woj originally reported that he was going to stay with the Clippers, but now he wants to leave the Clippers, I guess, or at least go into free agency and see if he can get more money elsewhere. And I don't know, that could be the same with Paul, and he could just re-sign with Phoenix, and he just wants like $50 million, for example. So with Kawhi Leonard, I think he should leave the Clippers because like they're not really going anywhere. I mean, they got Paul George, yes. Reggie Jackson's a great player. Terrence Mann, he's another really good player. Zubac, I think he's a good player. But they're not really going anywhere. I mean, they made it to the West Finals last season, but who knows? Now with the Lakers getting better, you got the Warriors, they're healthy again. LA could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. I hate to say this, but honestly, in my mind, I think Kawhi Leonard is somewhat of a crybaby, Like, if he doesn't get his way, he just goes to a different team until it's going to work out, which I think he has to learn how to have patience. I mean, legit, this team, he kind of made up this idea of this happening. So, for this not to work out and just to run away from it, it's kind of like, why? I mean, and I understand why. I think, yes, there's valid reasons of why he should leave, but at the same time, I think that he's not going to get much better anywhere else without having patience, right? And I think really, I don't know where he could go, to be honest, of, like where I could actually see his face at and where I'd be like, yes, this was with the scheme. I mean, I'm sure teams would want him, but I'm just saying, I don't know where I'd see him being like, oh yeah, this is Kawhi Leonard level.
I mean, he could go to the Heat, maybe, or the Wizards, but that's wishful thinking.
That's very wishful thinking.
So the 76ers are currently shopping Tobias Harris, which, what are you doing? I mean, if anything, I know that they are trying to, but if anything, they should do something about Ben Simmons, but I guess no one really wants him. I mean, the 76ers are a trash front office. I mean, they wanted like OG Anunoby and Kyle Lowry and a couple of picks for Simmons. Like, no one's going to take Simmons. Simmons is a forward trapped in a guard's body. They want to try to make him shoot. He can't shoot. He should be at small forward, maybe power forward, and he should be only focused on playing defense because he is a great defender. I will admit that. And attacking the paint because he is really, really good at doing that. But other than that, Ben Simmons is basically useless at the way that Philly is using him. So I definitely think that they should trade Simmons, but not Harris. Harris did a lot for Philly this year. And if Christian was here, he's another member of our podcast, but he's not here today. I'm sure he could tell you a lot of the things that Harris has done for this team over the last season.
Yep. Well, go check it out his Instagram, and you can actually see his little, rant about it. Really, I think this was a stupid idea. Like, I don't know where, like, the wheels turning in their head was like, oh well, we didn't get to trade Ben Simmons. Well, you know what? Let's just trade our second best player on the team. Let's just throw him out the window, right? Like, I mean, they haven't traded him yet, but they're still. I mean, it's confirmed that they're looking for a team, which I don't know why. I don't know if there's like a secret thing that's going on with Tobias Harris. Maybe he doesn't want to stay with the team. Maybe he's injured and they're just trying to keep it hush hush and trying to find someone else because something's happening. I'm not really sure, but like, I just think it's a stupid idea. I mean, like, what's right in your head to think that this is an okay idea? He was like, he's done like absolutely amazing on your team. Like, I can even say this myself. When he was on, the Bucks, he sucked. Orlando, he did all right. He wasn't the worst. And now, I mean, he just developed into a great player. And now you're just going to throw him out the window. And I really think that's going to go back to bite them. And, no matter what, if he wanted to go or not want to go, I didn't even see them try to offer him anything. So, yeah, just stupid.
I mean, if they trade Harris, just blow it up and build around Embiid. Honestly, just try the process again. And then this is going to be very painful for me to talk about. Russell Westbrook has been traded to the Los Angeles Lakers for along with a 2024 second round pick, a 2028 second round pick for Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and Contavious Caldwell Pope, and the 22nd pick in the draft, which ended up being I forgot the guy's name. He was a guy from Kentucky, I think, but they traded him for Aaron Holiday of the Pacers. But why? Just why would you trade Westbrook? The only good thing about the move with Westbrook is that they got rid of some cap space because Westbrook had an absurd contract, but I mean, he earned his contract. So, but I don't know. I mean, that could give some room for them to sign another big name free agent, which I know I'm being delusional here. So if you've made it this far, call me delusional Mike, the Wizards fan.
Put it down in the comments.
Yes, put it down in the comments. I will say it one more time. Mike, the delusional Wizards fan. I don't know if that's going to make like a big name like Kawhi Leonard or Chris Paul come here. I'm not really sure because, I mean, our GM, Tommy Shepard, I don't know how I feel about this guy because he's made some good moves. Like, he did get Westbrook the first time, even though it did take my favorite player in the league, John Wall. And that really worked out. And he also got another guy, Daniel Gafford, who is really a really solid player. But I don't understand why, because he was just touting Westbrook and Beal as the reason that big name free agents like DeMar DeRozan, Andre Drummond, there's a couple other guys too that wanted to come here because of the backcourt with Westbrook and Beal, and to just throw out Westbrook, and now you're going to go get someone like Spencer Dinwiddie, or I don't know, I've even heard, I was talking with Cam earlier, like Kemba Walker, which I don't think that's going to happen, but most likely like Spencer Dinwiddie or Lonzo Ball, like that's just crazy, man. Like I don't understand it, and that really makes me upset. And I don't know what Tommy Shepard is doing. So at least they got good draft picks. They did draft Corey Kispert and Isaiah Todd, who is from the area, and they signed Kyrie Walker. He was a high school basketball sensation, so maybe his game can translate here. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, really, I just think this was a stupid idea. I mean, really, a dumb trade. I think that really they got ripped off, especially with giving them a couple round picks, second round picks, with Westbrook. For one, that I feel like that's disrespectful to Westbrook in a way. I feel like really with the way Kuzma's played, I just don't think that he's really been that guy. You know what I mean? I don't want to be rude or nothing, but Kuzma, his performance has been right, along with Caldwell Pope and Montrezl Harrell, and I really kind of wonder, what is Bradley Beal gonna do? Is he gonna I wouldn't stay if I was him.
He's
Why
staying.
would I? I know. But I wouldn't though. I wouldn't stay. Like I wouldn't stay. Like I would get the option to go when I could, because like really I would have lost all hope by now, especially with that move that they just made. And I don't know where he could go, but there's places for him that they would love to have him. And you also got to think that like, what are the Lakers going to do with Westbrook? Are they going to keep him? Are they going to trade him? Like, what are they going to do with Westbrook? Because personally, I do think that they're going to keep him. And honestly, I think LeBron is just, hopeless at this point. He wants somebody. He needs somebody. He's desperate. So, personally, I think that, they are going to keep him. But I also know there's a lot of people that think that they are going to trade him.
I don't know why you would trade Russell Westbrook, but okay. They're definitely going to keep him. And if injuries don't stop them like last year, they could potentially be a champion. I don't know. We'll see. The West is going to be tough this year. We got the Warriors. We got the Suns, Clippers, Mavericks. We'll see.
Yeah.
And how I feel about, some of the players. I mean, the only player like I'm really interested in is Harrell. Like he was pretty solid. Like if we could get Harrell off the bench and start Gafford or Thomas Bryant, that would be cool. Caldwell Pope. One thing I did not like about Westbrook is that he turns the ball over a ton, and Caldwell Pope has some of the lowest turnover percentage, which is really good. Kuzma.
Yeah.
The way Kuzma played last year, like I'm not happy that we got Kuzma. But if it was like Kuzma from like 2 or 3 years ago, I probably wouldn't mind him. But this is Kuzma now with his blonde hair. I'm not feeling it. I don't know what the Wizards are doing, but you know what? I said this last season with John Wall getting traded away. So maybe Tommy Shepard will surprise me. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And finally tonight, we got the Memphis Grizzlies trading for Eric Bledsoe in exchange for Jonas Valanciunas and Steven Adams, which this is a solid deal. Eric Bledsoe's not too bad of a guard. He could definitely help John Moran off the bench. And Steven Adams is still a very solid big man. I'm shocked that the Pelicans traded him, but all right. Valanciunas is another good player. They also got the number 17 and 51 pick, or they sent the number 17 and 51 pick, I think. And they got the number 10 and 40, also a 2022 first-round pick. So I don't know. That's a little bit of a under the radar trade because not too many people really care about Eric Bledsoe, but it was a draft pick, and I think that they got a good prospect, but I forgot who they got.
They did get a good prospect. I forget who, but they got a great one. And the main reason why I actually had this on the list is just because I kind of thought it was a little bit of a robbery in my mind. I do think it was a little bit of a robbery in my mind. You got Steven Adams, a great big man, and a good backup as Eric Bledsoe, and a couple of draft picks, which I just thought was like for Jonas Valanciunas and a couple other draft picks, but are late ones. Like I couldn't see it in my mind, but I guess that's good on them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have a little bit of a camera here, right? You guys know me. I'm pretty big into UFC. I like it a lot. I see now. The other day, not this past fight night, but the fight night before this, Dillashaw versus Sandhagen, there was a pretty ridiculous amount of bad calls. And I just kind of got annoyed of it, right? Like, I'm kind of getting a little bit tired of seeing these trash calls that officials are making. Really, like, Sandhagen versus Dillashaw was a great example. I really think that Sandhagen had way more strikes put in. He had a couple of knockdowns to Dillashaw. Dillashaw mainly just wrestled, and that's really it. He just kind of hugged him the whole time, and that's really it. He'd get like the swipe punches, but even on the ground, Sandhagen was handling his own a little bit, and they gave it to Dillashaw, which is like so upsetting. And honestly, it was just disappointing because I really do like Sandhagen, and I used to like Dillashaw, but then he got caught using drugs and cheating. I think steroids, I'm pretty sure. And, you know, that's kind of made me not like him no more. You know, I thought that Dillashaw was even more evil than what he already was. And, you know, really just kind of shocked to see that, you know, they got cheated. And then there was also a couple ones. I forget the name, but it was a women's matchup. And it was a clear robbery. I mean, you know, that night was so bad that they had professional UFC fighters saying that it was robberies and that they need to fix this. And, you know, we've seen stuff like this happen before. And it's nothing to do with the refs. It's just the calling that they have. And I really think they need to start fixing it. You know, and I just think it's very stupid.
Yeah, I personally didn't watch that, but I did hear about that. You know, it was just so bad officiating. And but I will say I will be watching the Usman versus Covington fight. I think it's for their respective weight class division championship.
Yep.
So that will be really cool to see.
Yep, it is a rematch.
I'm gonna go for Colby Covington. So.
To be honest, I mean, I can tell you guys who I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Covington. But if I had to say who's actually going to win, I'm probably going to say Usman. Usman's dominant, man. He's got his striking better, and, you know, he's a really good wrestler. And I really think that Covington's going to have a hard time trying to get this man to the ground. Not only that, but, you know, his striking is just, you know, far much better now than what it was. Because Covington kind of have an advantage in that when they first fought. But now, it's, if anything, it's not, if it's even out, if anything, it's even better than what Covington has. And I think that he's a little bit better than Covington with both sides. I do think, though, that Covington has a chance at a submission. You know, Usman has bad submission defense. All right. Like, I think that if he really wants to go, he really needs to submit him. And that's, you know, my word of advice. Or if he can get a flash KO, because Usman leaves himself open. When he punches, he puts his arms down after. He doesn't really hold him back up again, you know, which is a clear way to just completely deck somebody and knock him out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my prediction, though, is if I had to make like a round and, you know, what happened, I'm going to say that Usman is going to win in the third round by KO.
I mean, I guess if I had to make a prediction, I'll also go with Usman, and I'll say, like, how many rounds is the fight? Is it going to be like
5?
Okay. I guess I'll go with Usman. I'll say Usman 4th round KO.
Okay, good to know.
All right, so now let's get into the top 10 this week. This one is going to be a little different because it is going to be top 10 fails of the week. We're going to start off with number 10, Chris Taylor dropping the ball that was popped up in the air. Here's the clip.
It's popped up, easy play on the right side. That was dropped, and the runner scored. And I remember.
Number 9, the Padres broadcasters to give umpire Doug Eddings player of the game for his bad calls. And because, quotation marks, everybody in Miami paid the price of admission to see him call balls and strikes. Here's the clip.
Plays of the game.
Well, there's been some controversy, some one-way calls here, and we're going to start. Fernando Tatis Jr. breaks the ball off the plate, called strike. Strike 3 to Will Myers down and in. Fernando Tatis Jr. voicing his displeasure in between innings. A high strike to Ha-Seong Kim. Continues with Tommy Pham. Some ejections as well. That's Doug Eddings, the home plate umpire, does not give the call to Emilio Pagan, clearly on the inside corner. Skip Schumacher is ejected from the game. Yeah, it's been a rough day behind the plate for Doug Eddings. And, of course, everyone in Miami paid the price of admission to see him call balls and strikes.
Pretty bad.
That sounds really funny. In at number 8, guy catches foul ball, high-fiving people, and leaves one person hanging. Here's the clip.
Fired up. Got that. Not easy coming over the net. Bring it in. Bring it in, everybody.
Oh, left him hanging.
Oh, wow. That's going to make the highlights. That's not good. He's still looking for his... Yeah. That was...
Number 7, Cody Bellinger overthrows the ball to third, which leaves the Giants to score and take the lead, which actually was the reason they won. Here's the clip.
Only 5 strikes for Trinan so far.
A little check swing bouncer. Muncie's going to field, and he didn't get Yastrzemski. So now Posey ranges away, and Bellinger throws it so high. Posey will come in to score. Yastrzemski over to third. That's how the Giants go ahead.
And at number 6 is mountain biker Vander Poel crashes hard in a rock drop. Here's the clip.
Number 5. The guy catches a home run, gives it to the kid, just for the kid to throw it back onto the field. Shaking my head. Here's a clip.
Into this game. 4, he's given up 9 hits, 4 home runs, 2 doubles.
And at number 4 is a home run getting out of the stadium into the water, and 2 guys fighting for the ball, and one ends up in the water. Here's the clip.
Wait.
Into the water.
Narvaez, I think that's how you say it, crashed into the railing and hits his nuts. Pretty brutal. Guys, watch out. Here's the clip.
To improve on that World Championship. Scoring, that's good. Oh, that one's going to hurt. Scoring, that's good. Oh.